Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hey, Professor, I got a question before we start.
Yeah.
Are you teaching CIS27, cybersecurity one?
Not in the winter.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in the spring. What?
Because remember that practice labs for the cybersecurity test?
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if they were still open or not.
You can probably try going through the practice lab of CIS30A.
Okay, and
Yeah.
and then
So,
just look for the
yeah, on the
cybersecurity test.
top left, you should see like a little roster sheet thingy, and then you click, oh, the drawer,
Uh-huh.
and then you click on that icon, and you might be able to navigate to some of the other assessment.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Okay. Okay, so I hope you're doing good. Um, so if you know people who wants to take Python this class, they can get articulated credit or transfer credit for UCR. I'm teaching this same class in the winter. I swapped the class. So 17A will be taught by Mr. Lee. He's a developer and I think he's working or applying to teach at UCI also. So um, he's doing data structure this time. It's his first semester, so he's having a little bit of a hard time, but he's making adjustment. However, he knows exactly what you need for as development. So that's 17A. I'm doing 30A and 18A again for the winter. So. All right. Yeah, that's how I feel too, but I had an early meeting this morning. So I saw that some of you already talked to the apprenticeship director, Jennifer. She had given me a list of who she talked to and who she's still working on. So hopefully that will get rolling pretty soon. She has good things to say about some of the students in this class that she met. So I hope if you haven't taken advantage of that, you can sign up for the apprenticeship and then meet with her so she can help you. I know the city, they're looking for programmers and also help desk people. There are other companies that are looking for IT support and also, other positions. So we can launch it pretty soon. So hopefully you can get paid while getting experience, and that's what I need. So apprenticeship is a program that we use to help students build experience while they're in school. And it's open to the CIS students, especially for the cybersecurity and the programming or the computer science students. Um, in the announcement, I think a while back, I posted a link for a form. So if you click on the announcement, you can go and look for the apprenticeship announcement. You can click on that link and fill out, I think it's like 4 or 5 pages, but you need to upload your resume and all of that good stuff so she can get your information. Okay. Um, no, for City of Riverside is a little different. They have a new director they have a new CIO. One of my friends, she used to be the CIO there. So sometimes if you are looking for developer job, yes, you do have to have a bachelor with experience or higher, but apprenticeship is mainly to get you that experience so when you finish your degree you can get higher pay. Okay, so check it out, fill out the information. It doesn't hurt, you can give it a chance, and then it's kind of like internship, but we work with you through the semesters to give you at least a year or more experience if you need. So that way, when you finish your bachelor degree, you are good to go. Or if you don't want to go for the bachelor degree, you can get other jobs. So, all right. Um, Sorry about the delay. So let me get back on Canvas. I had to get off earlier because my husband is teaching robotics upstairs. So yeah, he's teaching VEX for some private school, and he's working on a few apps. Okay, so any question before we start? I think I addressed some of the earlier questions, but please unmute and ask if you have questions. Okay, so let's go into screen share here.
Oh, I did have a question about the switch case from last Monday, but
Yes.
I could wait till the end of the class.
No, it's okay. You can bring it up. What's going on?
Oh, just in the, you had the switcher and then you had the 1:Monday and then 2:Tuesday. And I was just wondering why the Monday and Tuesday, they weren't in quotation marks, because the switcher was like a dictionary format.
Yeah. What? Let me see. Let me check my notes again. I'm overloaded with information, so sometimes I don't remember everything. That it's an age thing for me too, but it's just so many things. All right. Yeah. So in this case, like we don't make it a string because it's simply just a value for that key. One is the key, and Monday is the value.
What
You
is,
can make, yeah, go ahead.
if it's not a string, what is it?
It's the way it looks at it when it's encoded, it's just ASCII text and then it converts it to a number. So it looks at it as a numerical value inside the computing system, right? Like as it's stored to the memory, it converts that ASCII to a value. And all of these are just, because it still is text, but then we don't treat it like a string object. So you can make it a string. However,
I know it
right?
doesn't run if you make it into a string.
Yeah. So, but you have to tweak some stuff because remember up here, we define the functions as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you cannot make it a string if you have the definition this way. Because otherwise you have to, make it understand. So because the way we name Monday and this Monday, all of these right here, the definitions for your functions, it ties to the switcher, which is this. So what it does is it's looking at that as an identifier, not necessarily a string object.
So that switcher is still considered a dictionary?
Yes. It's still a container, and then it has to reference that container because we want to have options for the user, and that's the way we can get around it with Python compared to, C++, where we can actually write the switch statement. The way we have this is to create a dictionary, which is a container, and then tie it back to each of our. So in here, you already specify what that means for each one as a string. So it's still gonna be able to translate it or interpret it.
Is there a name for that since it's not a string? Is that a non-data type or is it just ASCII?
So yeah, so it's just gonna be ASCII. It's gonna treat it like a value. So when you put it in a container, it typed it as that container. So switcher is a type, right? It's a dictionary type. So with your key and your value, all of these is inside a container. So it just treat that container as a dictionary type.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you type it specifically inside the dictionary, it would also include that type. So lists and all of the container, when you create it with using the proper syntax, it treats it like a certain specific type. all that is it just creates, it allocates it based on how they set certain type to be like the size for your data, right? So on the larger container, like the list and the dictionary and the tuple, it just cuts the space to be a larger in size, and then with that it would hold values. Ultimately, everything breaks down to 0 and 1. So when you don't specify it as a string, we don't have to, that way we don't have to convert it. And with this, what we can do is, because we use the definition for your functions, so if you make it a string, that won't work with the identifier for the name for your functions. Okay, so this is a little different. You can also incorporate Lambda in this. I've seen some, a similar example that uses Lambda, and we'll come back to Lambda, but in this, because we are returning the switcher, so when you're trying to return from a string, you have to convert it, because ultimately we want to be able to bring what was defined in the functions with the string that was part of the function and bring it down. So here, when we return and then we're gonna get the value that was string from each of the functions. Okay, I can get you the exact technical name. When I was looking through and I was trying to play with this a little bit, there were a lot of, example program that were not done correctly, and you know that from the internet. So, but yeah.
Okay,
Any
thank
other
you.
questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so let's talk about lab 7. Trying to make it short for you guys. One of the comments from my teaching is that sometimes I make long labs. I want to make sure you have all the proper hands-on, but that could be challenging for students. Okay, so for the first exercise, so all of these, we're gonna have to do screen captures. So in the first exercise, it says, in an English class, Carolina earns of the following quiz grades: 92, 87, 93, and 88. In the same class, Raquel earns the following quiz grades: 88, 92, 81, and 97. Use Python sets and methods to perform the following task. Display the different quiz scores from Carolina's and Raquel's grades. So we need to do a comparison, and we need to look at the difference, right? That's what it says, the difference for A. So here, I want to comment that. So determine difference in the container. So we know that we need to have two sets. One set, so let's do procedure wise. So that way you know how to approach this. So what we have is A, we need to declare two sets. And should it be mutable or immutable sets? What do you think? Should it be frozen sets or regular sets?
Frozen.
Okay, so Chris said he wants to do frozen set. Well, you got to be careful, because in C, it asks you to remove the score.
Oh.
Okay, so let's not do frozen set. Let's do mutable set. That means we're going to use the curly braces, or this curly bracket. So one would each contain scores from student. Okay, so we know that we need to have one for Carolina and one for Raquel. So that's going to be A. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use methods to print the difference. in scores. Okay, so if you look at this just from the glance, we know that 92 appears in both and 88 appears in both. So it should give us the other two scores from each one. Now, you can do them individually, or you can do the symmetric difference when it print out the set of all of, you know, two from each. So you can decide on what you want to do there. So we want to look at the difference, and that's the key word there, right? That from the method. And then for B, we want to display the same grades that's earned by the student. So we want to use method to, so what should I do here? I need to find which one? The overlapping, which is the intersection, right? The common grades, or what we would see as intersection. So when you have two sets and when they're overlapping each other, and the overlapping ones are going to be the 92 and the 88, right? So those should be outputting from the intersection. Okay, and then we want to print that. To print, I should say to print. Okay, and then for C, we want to remove the lowest score from each of the students. Like many instructor would say, well, I'll drop your lowest quiz grade, right? And then you will get the higher grades be averaged into your overall grade. So we again gonna use method to remove, right, lowest quiz score. Now we have to use, in this case, we should use the min, and we should use remove. Now, remove is a better method to use in this particular case, because that way we would take that completely from the set, right? Discard, you can use discard, but you have to discard the actual value. It's still gonna give you the same thing, but remove, actually, if you don't do it correctly, it will throw an error. Versus discard, if you do it incorrectly, it won't throw an error. So that's the main thing. One will give you the error, which is remove, and discard will not give you the error, so you won't know, you know, if that is done correctly or not. So we would use these methods. Okay, and then we can, if you want, you can print again the sets. Okay, any question?
I put a question in the chat.
Yes. So okay, so when you do this, when you remove the min for Carolina and you declare it as the what is that? We're removing the lowest score. So with this, okay, you need to have when you remove it that way, it cannot reference the original container.
Okay.
So it lost the value somehow when it interpret that. I'm going to show you my program now so you can see it. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me minimize the chat. And that happens too, right? In other languages, when you started using methods within methods, or you have methods with functions, sometimes it cannot point back to the original location. So it would create, it would just show what it could. Okay, so here is my program. So what I did was I have C scores for Carolina's grade, and then I have R scores for Raquel's grade, and I simply just print that to show the user the scores to start. Then I do a difference. Now I did both. The first two is just gonna show the difference from each. So I wanna compare Carolina's score to Raquel's score and look at the difference there. And then I went the other way where I would compare Raquel's score to Carolina's score. And then I did two for symmetric difference so you can see. Okay, so we can do one for each for the difference, or if you like to do symmetric difference, it's gonna group, right, the difference from each, from Carolina's and Raquel, and it's gonna give you the set. And then I do an intersection, okay, display the same grades earned. So I did an intersection there to see what they have as common grades. And then I did a remove and print. Okay, so F5. So first we have Carolina's and Raquel's score, right? And then we display the difference from Carolina to Raquel's. That gives me 93 and 87. You can see that there. Those two are different from Carolina's score. And you can add more to show text if you like. And then I display the difference between Raquel's score to Carolina's score. So the 81 and the 97 shows up, okay, here. And if we do look at the symmetric difference, it just groups the differences from both into one set, okay? And just how it orders this is that it's gonna pull, right, from how you write your methods here. So on the first one, it's gonna pull from Raquel's score, and then it's put it here. And then on the second one, it pulls from the Carolina score, and it puts it there first. And then the intersection, which is 88 and 92, both of them have those scores. Okay, and then I did a remove the minimum score from Carolina. So that took out the lowest score from Carolina. It leaves me with 3 grades. And then I did a remove from Raquel's score. It took out Raquel's lowest grade and give me 3 grades.
Aiko has a question.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, Aiko? Do you have a question? I think you might be on mute, or...
I have a question. The
Yes.
correct answer to the homework though is the symmetric difference, right? Not the difference.
Yeah, I didn't specify, but yeah, you can do it at one symmetric difference and that would take care of it. Sure. I'll take that. Okay. As long as you understand the difference between the two, that's important. Okay. How we use it too. Echo? Let me see if she typed in her questions. Okay, so any question on exercise 1? There you go. Okay. All right. No question on 1. So this one's pretty easy, right? Just using a few of the methods for sets, and we want to use mutable set, and then we can show the differences. We remove. Okay, so no question on 1, and I don't want to rush, so
Sorry, I have a question
yes.
because my computer has problem.
Okay, yeah, I thought
Okay.
something was wrong with your microphone. What's going on?
I want to ask, you see that when you run the symmetric difference,
Okay.
you gave 97, 81. This is not in order. How to change it in order?
Yeah, so in what it's doing is it's pulling the 97 and the 81 from Raquel's score, okay, and it puts that first because we tell it to.
No, I mean, after you do this, I want to do that. 81 first, then 87, then 93, 97.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
how to do that?
So you can issue a sort.
Oh,
Yeah, you can do a sort where it would do it all from low to high for you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. But because when it pulls it, 97 is in the back here, it's going to take that one and it's going to move over and it's going to go to this one. So it traverses it back. So that's why you get the 97 first and also the 87. Yeah. So because 87 is behind the 93, you can manually organize the data. However, the easiest way is to sort it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, because the sets is it's an unordered container. That's why you see them kind of all over the place, right? You get low, high in all different places. So you don't have to necessarily, but if you can force it to put it in ascending order and so forth. Okay. All right. Great. Good question. Okay, so that was number 1. For number 2, we have 2 sets. In these, we are going to use the characters in each of the sets, and we are going to look at subsets and supersets. So a superset would contain, right, the subset values, and if it's part of a superset, it should return that it is a subset. So as you look at the STA, the first one, you have COMPUTER, right? It should spell out computer. And then the second set, STB, it's to spell out MUTE. So when you look at this, you said, yeah, MUTE exists in the STA. So it is technically a subset of the other one, okay? But we want to write the method, right, to compare, okay? So what we can do is we can start with declare the given sets, STA and STB, okay? Now we can just simply use the method to print, but it's gonna tell you true, right? So, or what we can do is we can check, Okay, like we can use a control statement to check that. So there's, either way is fine. I just want you to use the method superset and subset. So use method to print STA is superset. And then for the first one, I would use method to print STB is a subset. Okay, so alternatively, we can do a control statement, and so that way it makes a little bit more sense, but we can simply print that because that's the objective, is to verify if they have some kind of relationship, okay, as sets. Okay, so here is my program. I chose to use if-else statement. So first, I declare and assign value to my mutable sets. Okay. Because we are given mutable sets. Then I use the is supersets method. So I simply put if STA is superset of STB. Print STA is a superset of STB. Else print STA is not a superset of STB. Sorry, that's a typo there. Okay, that was for the first part. The second part, we would do a subset. Again, I use the if statement. If STB is subset STA, print STB is subset of STA. Else, print it is not subset of STB. So when we do this, right, it checks true for the condition. So it says STA is a superset of STB. And then for the second one, it checked true. So it puts STB is a subset of STA. You can simply do a print, print STA dot is superset STB. It's just going to print true. Okay. Any question? So we don't have to apply the control statement like I said, but you can. So it looks more of like a complete program, so we can know exactly what it's doing. But we, if you do the print, it just simply do true and true. And usually you don't see stuff like this in real practice, because sets are used for unique items collection. So often you would see that with like numerical data or something very specific. So for example, like employee ID, that would be valid. Username, that would be valid, right? Like in a network environment. stuff like that. Because in the case where you have employee name, people might have the same name, but you cannot give them the same username because that would cause conflict. So sets would be good for that. Employee ID has to be all unique, of course, so we can identify each employee. So sometimes, you know, on a smaller scale example, I wanted to show you that we can use something like this as supersets and subsets. So that way it's just a simplified example. Okay. Any question on number 2? I'll check chat while we have you look. Some of you are doing NCLs, right? National Cyber League. I know Sean might be. I hope you're doing good.
The preseason hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay. They haven't opened a gym for you guys?
They have
for
opened
practice?
the gym though. They have opened the gym,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They actually opened the gym a month prior instead of a week prior this season.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's good for a lot of people to get in and learn some things.
Practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I did it with 3 students a while back. Like most of them didn't really know much about cybersecurity because they just started. And the gym really helped them learn a lot of different things. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure it does. It totally does. I like how they like let you try to solve it first, and then if you can't, then you can see how it's done. I'll give you an example
good.
of one way at least you can do it.
So Sean, since I have you on, I just talked to Jennifer, who's the director for apprenticeship, because she's trying to touch base with me about CompTIA voucher. And I told her the situation where I was told that I could not use certain funding for that. So they said that we have some smaller type of funding that we might be able to use to buy coming from like banks, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and stuff, that they donate money to our foundations, to CTE. So we're working on that, and then I will let you know as soon as we could use it, because I told her all I need is about $7,000 to start, so I can buy like at least 20 vouchers at a discount rate for students, and then after that,
Man.
you know, we
I
can go.
I already took the exam. I had
Oh
to pay for it.
no!
Yeah, I already had to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Which one did you take?
The Security Plus.
Oh, okay. Well, save the other one. You can then what we can do is we can take a look at, you know, other voucher. But the CEH, I can get that for you from Certiport. That's coming up.
Oh, CEH?
Yeah, it's an associate for CEH though. Sorry, I'm sidetracking.
I'm gonna probably take it this month, by the end of this month.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys still want to do the A+, we'll buy the A+ for you. Okay.
Okay.
And then when I teach the Network Plus, then I can get them to buy it. So I will let you know for sure when we have that in hand, because right now we're scrambling to get that in. Also, what else? And then if we are able to buy it at a very cheap price, we can also get you at that low cost price as a partner. Anyway, okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I wish I knew a
good.
lot sooner. Okay. Okay. So you saw number 2. For number 3, it says a car travels 50 miles on the first day, 70 miles on the second day, and 100 miles on the third day. Write a function that converts the total miles into kilometers. 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometer. Okay, so how should we approach this, right? We can say that first, define function, and then inside that, now if you use local identifier like local variables and or list, right? You can build it into the function, or if you want it to make it global, you can put it at the top. So either way would be okay. But so do I use variable or list here?
I used a list.
Okay, good. So a list that would contain miles each day, right? And then within that, we want to find a sum, right? So we would use sum to find total miles. And then we can use the operator, operate calculation to convert kilometers. And then the next part, lastly, we would do a function call. So that's the layout of it. Now you can use a sum method, or you can use the for loop to have it iterate through and at them do a running sum with the for loop. That will be okay. But if we wanted to use, you know, a built-in method, we can use the sum. Okay. So now I'm gonna open up the program so you can see. Sorry about that. So in this program, right, you can have, so first I did this with the global list. So I would use miles equal 50, 70, and 100. So we initialize the list value, the values for the index there, the elements. Then I define my function. Okay. So here I have miles to kilometer, and I use num here. Okay. All that is that it's gonna be for the parameter. And then we would print, and here we do a calculation. We would take num, we multiply it by 1.6. And then I have miles to kilometers, some miles. So this is the argument down here, and the num here is just, it works as a placeholder, and then it's gonna plug in the miles when you call the function down here. So this is the parameter. And then this is more of the argument. So here we have converted it by calculating it, multiplying num with 1.6. And then we call the function. Miles to kilometers, some miles. So when we run this, we would have total kilometer is 352. Okay. So very easy. Any question?
I guess I could ask a question.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do the print statement outside of the function, um, is that okay?
Yeah. If you wanted to do it outside of the function after, you can. I simply, because the way I use it is I have it with num and then I want to print it. So.
Then I wouldn't just be calling it. When I call it,
Right.
it would be within the print function. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Like what we did in the exercises. Yeah, I remember. Yes, that's fine.
Professor,
So you can do print and then the function.
should we start? I mean, 'cause I don't know if it's not common practice or not, but what about, because I when I was reading an article, it said that we have to get used to putting return, because if
Yeah.
sometimes for the
Yeah,
function.
because if you have, in the case, so a lot of the times we don't just make one function, we have many functions. So yeah, you want to return. So that's a good suggestion. So yes, you can do that. Because in many cases, we don't just have one function and just print for that function, right? So
Yeah.
we would have return. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so this is just one way, right? We have many ways to still be able to achieve the objective, like we've been saying all along. So you might think you might solve a problem a little bit differently and still be able to get the same output. Okay, so this is one way, and then you might have a different way, and the next student will have a different way. As long as we're able to get to the total kilometer, then we're good. So the whole point in this is to let you practice defining functions and calling functions. So. Okay.
Question, sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
I was trying to do it before you showed your example, and I did it using a for. What I did is first I converted it, so I created a new list that was empty. Or can I show my screen?
Yeah, hold on. Let me
That might be
stop
easier.
share. Yeah, and then let me enable that real quick. Okay.
That's how I did it, Andrea.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This one. So I first created an empty list, and then I guess I was having trouble outputting it or having it print or let me change I'm only sharing that one tab, not my whole screen, so you won't see it.
Okay.
Okay. When I run it, it just says 0. So I don't know if I wrote it correctly.
Okay, so you have the container, you iterate through it.
It's because on your cart, could you go on your it's because you forgot to add Because you're pretty much reassigning your new list to the same thing over every time you're looping it. You're not adding the actual index. You're just reassigning the whole list.
Oh, what time is that?
Do you understand what I'm saying, Andrea?
I get what you're saying. I just don't know how to fix it.
Okay, so when you calling car miles here, okay, so you're calling car miles here, and then you're printing. But are you're not storing it back to car kilometer?
Right here?
Oh yeah. So you're storing it back to car kilometer. But when you so when you calling the miles converter, your argument is car miles.
Because I'm converting.
No, you know what? She's not appending it.
Yes.
To car kilometers. She's not appending it. She's just reassigning it.
So I have to use the .append function? Or?
Yes, because it's not able to read all the indices in the car kilometer.
Do I do that like?
Okay, can you wait before you do that? Can you change?
I think.
Okay, you're not at. Yes, go ahead, Chris.
To have it work that way, she needs to add the bracket and the I. I think in the
index.
In the index, the index.
Like that.
And I think it'll work now.
No.
Try it. Oh,
no.
Just kidding. No, then it's the appendant.
Yeah, so you have to append them, and then also look at your argument when you call calling the function, because you're using car miles in your argument.
If you don't use the append, you can you say your new I equal this multiplication because you change your I. So if you do that way, you don't need the append. You just 50 change to the new number, 70 change new number. You just okay.
Go ahead, Aiko.
You just say I equal I times 1.6. So you
so what she's saying is that, you know how right under your for loop you should put I equal I times 1.6.
Yeah, I equal I times 1.6. Like that.
Like that?
Yes. Then I times.
So take out car miles and then just do I times.
You still have to append the I though to the car kilometers.
In this case, you don't need it because you just change value.
So I would still need to append a no though to add it to the car.
Yes.
Add it to this list. Yeah.
Because you have a different container.
I mean the same case, but I did the definition. You ask the mile.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if that's how it works.
But
we got a number at least.
Okay, so it's only you're not summing at that point, so now you gotta sum them. You see what I mean? You're getting
no, she needs to get rid of range length. It's because the car miles is already a list.
Yeah, your last question, last 2 miles that parentheses you should put this list.
Sorry, like this? Or I don't know. I'll work on it. Oh, hey, it did it.
Got it. You got it. Yeah. Yeah, you have to play with it. Yeah, because when you do it to the length, it doesn't understand that, and it's only gonna give you one of the index at that point. So good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Aiko, you want to share yours so people can see?
No.
No.
I don't do. I just concentrate and listen to you. I don't type and listen together, and I'm not that ability to do that.
Okay, that's okay. No problem. Maybe another time. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. So are we okay? Do you have any questions? All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, so we want to write a function that append the word by to any given string. So if I assign the string like Casey, it's gonna say by Casey. Or, you know, whatever. We just want to add that word, that string by to any string. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. So here, let me show you. No, I don't want any file. Let me open. Is that number 5? Yeah. Number 4. Okay, so we would have the definition for our function, and I call it add by, and then we would use str here as the argument, and we want to have it add by, right? So we do a plus equal by, and then we print it. Now, since we didn't declare what that string is, we can simply say, because it's an argument, we can simply add that here. So you can add anything here. So when we run this, it would say hello bye. Okay. We can have it. Okay, like that. Okay, so we want to just simply add the word to anything. It's kind of like what you have done, but with the list before, we add the last name for each of the kids. But in this case, we're just gonna have it append to another string.
I did it in 2 lines.
Oh, sure. Let's see. Hold on, let me stop share. Chris wants to share his.
Okay. So where am I? I can't see. What am I?
There.
There it is. Okay. So what I did is I know this is not. It's because what I learned when I do stuff, or when I'm doing stuff, for example.
Chris, that's tiny.
Sorry. How do I go? Hold on. Let me fix this, because I don't know where my screen thing in the G went. Oh, there it is. Let me stop share and just go back to the
Yeah, if you choose the actual window.
There you go.
There you go.
So for here, for add, I actually looked at the Python document, and I searched for what the words, or what does the function string comes with, or what you can use. So instead of using the plus equals, that's the actual function to call it. Mm-hmm. And in order for you to, what's it called, pretty much add any word, I wrote it as to, so the person who's wants to add just to write something in input, and just pretty much bring it through the function call here, and just return it and just print right away.
Okay, yeah, so you have an input, a variable that contains the input. Let's run it and so that way they can see the output.
Okay. So in order, I have to stop and get the other one. Share screen. Oh, it's almost the same one, just kidding. There you go. So it says write anything, but
Yeah, that works too. So the add that you use is equivalent to plus and equal, and you can,
yes.
yeah, you can use the help in idle to get you the documentation.
For example,
for,
yeah. Or I
Go
use
ahead.
there in order to look for the documentation. You see all that.
Yeah.
That's all the things that you can use with, or and if you need to know what that does, you do this. Oops, just kidding. Hold on. For example, I think no.
Yep.
That's how you. So shell pretty much gives you the documentations. If you haven't, for example, when I do for loops or something, I want to know what I can use in the for loop. Oh, just kidding. Well, let's see. There. So that's all the built-ins that Python has, and you pretty much can see and use whatever Python has. That's how that's how I'm learning to use more, and not having to rely on going back on notes. I mean, because I'm pretty sure
or the internet, yes.
Yeah, or the internet, exactly. I mean, when you're working, they're not gonna let you. Or for example, when you go on your job interview or doing your job, whatever, the whiteboard, they're not gonna let you go on the internet to find if you forget what functions you could use. Yeah,
functions, right?
exactly.
So
you
you can look up the built-in command, and this is a good way that Chris is showing you if you don't know how.
Yeah,
right? You can also use the help functionality in shell, and as long as you can access the Python shell, and we're using idle, so you can just simply type in what you're looking for, directory, so right, so dir, and then the keyword that or the search key that you're looking for, and then also, so if it doesn't understand, then it's gonna throw the invalid syntax, but so you can also use the help like what he has above it. Okay, so that's a good technique. Thank you, Chris, for sharing.
No problem.
So that's good. So he's using the add functionality instead. Good job. Anybody else want to share their program that's a little different? Okay, so I have it like this, and you can have it like Chris, or you might have a different way, but as long as you define your function, and instead of using the add like Chris, I use the plus equal, the compound assignment operator, and then I do a print. Now, I didn't have a variable for input. If you wanted to go that extra step, that's fine. Okay. So I just simply put hello, and it should say hello, bye. Good job, everybody. Collaboration, that's good. Okay, any question? Okay, so for 5, we're gonna write a function that display whether any given integer is an even or an odd number. Okay. So with this, let me just show you. I think it will be easier to kind of go through it, but you should use modulus. I don't know why I keep clicking that. Okay. So for number 5, we want to create a function and we want to check if it's an even or an odd. So you know that if it's an even number, when we divide it by 2, we get no remainder, 0. Okay. If it's an odd number like 3 divided by 2, you would get a 1 remainder, right? Because it's 1 time with 1 remain. And so forth. So what we can do is we can use a mod 2. So here what I did was this is my function name when I defined it, eve odd, and then we want to have a control statement. So we want to say if num mod 2 is equal to 0, if it has no remainder, then that number would be even. And then else print num is odd. And I didn't have a variable to record input, so I just test it with the number. And you can do it that way, or if you have, you know, a variable that records the user input, then make sure that you use that in the argument when you call the function. Okay. So when I run this, it tells me that the number I have is the odd. Okay, any question? So we simply use modulus 2 and check. Any question?
I can ask a question.
Yes, Michelle.
I can't. Can you do a function? Oh, I guess you would have to do a list comprehension in a function, but you can't make a function in a list comprehension.
A function in a list comprehension is okay. So I'm trying to understand in the reverse. So what are you trying to do with the list?
Like if you wanted to make this into a list comprehension, but there's a function, so I don't know if you could put this function into a list comprehension, or if you can't, can you even have functions in a list comprehension?
A function in a list comprehension.
Or does it list comprehensions that you don't have functions ever in a list comprehension? It's either, I guess, a list comprehension or a dictionary comprehension, but
yes,
there's no such thing as a function comprehension.
No. You have to, if it's a container like that, you have to tie it with some form of method that's already pre-built. Good question. I have to come back to you on that. I have to dig around and see if anybody have tested the other way, or if they have some mechanism for that. So yeah, I haven't seen it used for list comprehension like that within, because you still have to call it. And so how would you call it if it's within the list comprehension? So I don't know the exact answer for that. I have to come back to you. Good question though. I mean, yeah, when you ponder that, you said, well, you know, if it's able to do this way, can you go the other way, right?
Right.
All right, I'll come back to you on that. Okay, any other questions? Okay. All right. So even odd number for number 5. And then on the last one is that we're gonna write a function to remove the last item of any given list. Okay, so here is the example of mine, so you can see what it's supposed to do. Okay, so pop is the last item, so we can simply just pop it, right? So if we want, we have 1, 2, 3, then we can just pop the last one. Okay, you can have a longer list or just remove the last one. So, okay, and then it outputs 1, 2. So here I have defined REM for my function name, and I'm using LST up here as the parameter. And then I'm gonna use it with the pop method and then print. And in this, I just simply declare L as 1, 2, 3 inside the function itself. Then we can do we call it rem L. Okay. So here that will take the list and then it's gonna pop the 3. So if I have 5, 9 like this, remove the space so it looks cleaner. It will just pop the 9. Okay. So we can have it any list, and you can test with any list you like. But I just use integer because it's quick and easy.
To have the user fill a list, you would have to use a for loop, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're trying to append it, yeah, you have like what you did earlier with the index, that's fine, or you can for loop it, yeah, and append.
Okay. Okay.
Or you could use update if you have a sub list to fill, but yeah, usually when you for loop it, you have to index individual elements. So we'll append.
You this one, that means you drop you pop the last one because you put nothing. That means the
right.
Right. If you want certain one, say it's number 3.
Mm-hmm. And you can remove. You can do a remove instead.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would do a remove 3. So let's say we want to get rid of, any 3 in the list, then we just do a remove 3. Because pop will just go to the last.
Go to last. But the last class we learned the pop left something.
Yeah, you can specify a certain location, but POP is often used to get rid of the last one that came into the list that was stored. Yeah, but so we can probably, you know, if you wanted to properly remove a certain number, then you would do a remove. Or if you clear, it will just clear everything. So yeah, POP technically should be used. POP should be used with the last.
Okay.
To get rid of the last. Yeah, that's because it's gonna point to that location. Any question? Wow, we're really early. I want to be in trouble when they're reviewing me.
I'd like to ask a question 5 months in advance.
Sure.
I don't know if you can tell us what the textbooks are for B and C, 30B and C.
I can tell you that I'm gonna likely use the one that I had written in the recommendation of the book, so you can check those out. They're packet T book. I can pull up the core and I can tell you. Yeah, they're not that expensive, but they are, you know, we have to wait and see after December on how they're gonna if they're gonna continue completely online or how it's gonna go for the B and C course. What I want is I want it to be able to meet occasionally in the case where, number one, if you need help with specific things, number two, you have access to network devices to test your script instead of using virtual environment. My backup plan would be using a cloud structure, so that way you can remote to the network devices so you can test your script. But as you know, cloud connection is a little slow, so it's not the best tool. So I kind of have to gauge and see how that's gonna go. But if not, like, we have to take a look at how we would offer these upcoming classes, because it makes more sense if you can test it with security and network appliances, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, so what I can do is I can share. Does anybody have any question regarding the last exercise that's left?
Is there any way you can open up the projects sooner than later?
Let's see. This is week 7.
Yeah.
I can probably put it. Let's see. You have up until week 16 to turn it in. So
some of us are enthusiastic.
I'll see if I can open it in either, probably not next week. I have to finesse it a little bit, but maybe 9. So that would give you like more than a month and a half to work on it, more than a month and a half to work on it. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm not expecting too many crazy things, but you know, you can start looking into how you want to approach it and make it fun. Okay, so let me stop share real quick, and then I'm going to show you, actually, let me go back. I'm going to show you where you can find the course information. Okay, so from here on out, you can find any class.
The reason why I ask is, you know, Amazon's having their Prime Day next week, and then there's Black Friday. Yeah. So I'm asking ahead of time.
All right, that's good. Yeah, Packet Tea, they do have you know, they sell through Amazon and they also sell on their website. You can also preview the book for some part. They have some pretty cool books. So, okay, here's a way that you can look up any of the approved course information, okay? I go through employees. Actually, I'll drop the link onto your chat for you shortly. There's this public database that we use. And this is for Riverside District only. Okay, so now here we want to click course, and you notice that this is for, so if we want to look at course, then we can look at, let's say CIS. And then Aiko said to look for 49, but I'm gonna show you 49. That's okay. So this is the RCC ones, and you can tell, so when you get here, you click on the course outline, and it will tell you which campus that, so if it has Moreno Valley, then Moreno Valley can also teach it. So this is a Riverside only, and it tells you, so when you look at, this is what we call course outline of record. When we propose a course, this goes to, you know, your chancellor office, your Department of Education. They review this. After it gets reviewed by all the other faculty in the discipline, and you know, it gets voted on. So there's a major process. So the book information, it would be down at the suggested course material. Okay, they have a typo there. Nobody caught that. Okay. Anyway, so I can show you how you can search for 30. So you click on course, you choose CIS, you press 30 and you search. Okay. So these are all the CIS 30 courses. So you already are in 30A. Now, the recommended textbook doesn't have to be the textbook. The faculty has the right to change the textbook, but if they continue to use a different textbook, they have to make modifications to the course outline of record. So if you click on the little sheet icon, okay, and as you can see, RCC didn't opt in on this, or Norco. So yeah, so likely I will choose either one of these. So if you, let me see, more of the you know, I might have to supplement, because sometimes you might not get one from the other, but I will likely use the Eric Chu one, because when I read this book, you know, I thought that it would be a great book to use. This one has a little bit more programming for networking. So
what is that, it's Python 2.0? That's 2014.
Yeah, but there, you know, so we would supplement it. There might be a later version of this textbook for 3.0. So when I submitted this was a while back, like a couple years ago, and it took them 2 years to go through this. Okay. I'll get back to you next week for sure. Let me take a look at the textbook that they can give me to use for the class as far as packet T goes, and then I'll let you know. That's a definite answer. You're welcome. But yeah, I know Prime is, yes, question.
Before I enroll your class, I know that the class, same class, Python class in City campus, but that class called Part A, Part B, Part C in one semester.
Yeah, so those classes at RCC are non-credit courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wrote, so when I was writing these, Mr. Conrad at RCC had saw that I started writing the Python credit courses. So he wanted to complement it by doing the non-credit courses. So when you take the non-credit courses, you can get the non-credit certificate in one semester, but it doesn't, it shows up as non-credit courses. So it doesn't weigh into your GPA or be used for transfer.
Okay, I want to know that one semester Part A, Part B, Part C equal your class ABC?
No.
No? For certificate?
Yeah.
For certificate.
Yeah, so so it might be the part A, part B, part C, it might be equal to at the most 1 credit course, which is the one that you're in.
I can
Because
comment on that if you'd like.
So his ABC cover your class is A30A, only 30A, not cover 30B.
Right. So yeah, Michelle wants to add to that for you real quick.
The that Python non-credit class is taught by a data scientist. So it's not really, geared towards networking or security or anything like that. And they use Anaconda, in which you have to use Spider as the environment. So it takes a different approach. And I thought it was, at times, it was hard just because of the time. You don't have that much time to work on stuff.
Because it's so short.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is their non-credit course is the 830. And it's only at Riverside. So they have the part 1, part 2, part 3. And yes, it's supposed to give you the basic, like for example, the part 1, it only talks about using variable and data type. Okay. And then part 2, it will talk about, list and tuple, and then so all of the parts combined is less than the CIS30A. And when you look at the non-credit courses, usually they start with an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, they start late.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks late. Okay.
Yeah, no, but the course number, it start with an 8 or a 9.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is that's, but if you wanted to look at the Python series that MVC has, these are the ones. And every single one of these, I triple check with the articulation officer, and I saw the validation with the email that our UCR has looked at all of these, and they gave us transferable credit for the Python programming at their campus. Now, RCC has launched another one that's credit-based, but it's not for a computer science student. And that one does not get articulated for computer science, if you're interested. Because there's Introduction to Python for Computer Science at UCR. And then we submitted for the UCI also. So you can take any of these and get transferable credit, but if you take all 5 of them, you get the certificate. The way I geared this is mostly focused. Half of it is focused on cybersecurity. The other half is focused on IoT development. Like this one is IoT, and then this one has data structure, and it has a little bit of the artificial intelligence and analysis with that. So, okay. So now you know how to find every single course outline of record.
I already knew that.
Oh, okay, well, good for you. I know you do, Paul. But the students might not. Other questions? Yeah.
Book for the class.
This book good. This book you need. This book you need other book help, but it just a list or something. Not a,
right.
Okay.
So what I like to do is I like to continue using, if the reason why it was affordable, that was the book choice for me. But the person that was supposed to teach this class in the first place, because we had some adjustment in the schedule, he selected a different book that was a little bit more pricey. But there's so many documentation online. For me, I think that I rather supplement some of that. So, okay. Any other question? When is 30B being offered, Cynthia? It will be offered in spring along with C. And then the D and E will be offered in the fall. If we don't offer in the summer, I might run some of the repeat course in the intercession. But yeah, so if you knock it out in spring and fall, you get all the everything completed. So we're trying to do it in less than 3 semesters.
Yeah,
3 or less.
We hope we can all go to 30B. Otherwise, maybe a small number in 30B.
Yeah, so I'm rerunning the 30A in the winter to have more student population. So I will re-offer 30A in the winter. So I'm hoping, and I will market it so you will see more students in the class. And as we offer it the first time at the campus, I will fight for them not to cancel it. So I won't be canceled, trust. Question?
I'm planning to follow you to B, C, and D.
Okay. Yeah, and I do have great other faculty that can also teach some of the other ones too. So, but yeah, for the B and C, if we can't, if we are doing remotely, we're planning to purchase additional equipment so you can use it as a loaner to test your scripts, okay? Or use emulator or use online.
You can't do that course on just the laptop?
You can, but we would have to test script with routers and switches. So we have to use a cloud environment, or we have to use real appliances. So, but I will let you know for sure on their final decision on that. But right now, like, we can make it where we can periodically meet if they allow it. If not, we have to use cloud environment.
Professor, if for D and E, it's in the fall, right?
Yes, next fall.
So because I know by then I'd probably be in San Bernardino, can I take your class like an online setting, even though it's going to be in class?
We don't have to. We can probably offer. There's different versions of online now. So yes, to answer your question, we will likely run more online because these type of certificate-based courses will have more traction with like a distance education. So you can take concurrent dual, we call that dual enrollment for university and community college classes, Chris. So you can still be a university student like Aiko. She comes back from UCR. Yeah, you can take it at the community college.
Yeah, you can take it, but right now the better all class online. But if in classroom, maybe your time or class conflict. So you
so we have to consider how the schedule would be, but yes, we would do more distance education based, because from what I know is that we're gonna go remote until at least until December.
Oh, I heard RCC is gonna be remote through spring, but that's a rumor.
For winter we're gonna do all online, but we don't know for sure. It's I just saw the information from our Senate, so it might consistently go all the way until next summer. I don't know. That's not, because it's also depending on the health department and state. So okay.
How many students in this class?
Like
I have approximately about 17.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully with the next winter session, we'll get another group, and then that will give us a larger group for the spring. Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience. Any other questions about courses, offering, lab, anything?
Do you need to take, go ahead, Chris, go ahead.
No, mine's different. It's not for Python, something else. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you need to take B and C to take D and E? I'm more interested in the programming side, not so much the networking and cybersecurity.
Yeah. So just, you don't have to, because here, let me show you. The prerequisite, if you look at the prerequisite section, it will tell you exactly that. Okay, so here's the course outline of record. The prerequisite for the D is 30A. So once you complete this class, you can take the other one. And then this one is geared toward IoT and making API for IoT devices. So I found some really great cloud-based resources for this. You can use Azure or Amazon, AWS. Okay, so you can do it that way. And then also, you know, so that for the advanced Python, the prerequisite is only 30A. So yeah, once you finish this course, you can take, so we can literally offer all 4 courses together. It's just, I don't think we have faculty availability to teach all four CIS30, you know, but I can ask. So in the case where we offer it, I'll let you know. It will be hard on your schedule though. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And is this, you can only get the certificate if you complete all 5 classes, right?
Yeah, it's the way it's written is because, but look, if you want to go and become a great developer or whatever, consider, I have Certiport, Microsoft Intro to Python certification that's coming up from Certiport. So once we have the license, you can test for that, or you can test for the PCAT from Python Institute for the beginner one, or even the advanced one down the line. So you can certify for that, and that kind of give you a little bit of leverage. I know that sometimes, you know, certification might not even matter if you're just talented, but that kind of put your resume above some of the other ones, you know? So yeah, so I think, you know, you don't have to get the college certificate. That would be great if you do, but if you don't, you can get the industry certification for Python.
Okay, right, sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
Question?
Anything? Yes.
So I did take the Cisco 26A and B. Is it overlap to take 40A?
There's some material that's overlapping, but Cisco, there's some, I will go over some weeks. I go over Cisco devices, but not always, just Cisco. So 40A is Network Plus. It's not Cisco. So yeah, there's some overlapping material, but not like, I want to say about 50% or less.
Wow, okay.
Okay. Yeah, because we talk about addresses and you know, there will be some lab that will be on Cisco, but not always on Cisco. So I spend a little bit more time on how, you know, looking at other devices as well.
And then you're teaching that new non-credit on the IoT devices in the summer.
I plan to, yes. We plan to do it for CyberCamp this year to make it non-credit for the high school students that are 16 and over. Unfortunately, when they're under 16, their parents have to sign the waiver for non-credit so they can possibly get a certificate for it. But I don't know if we can finish the whole suite for the summer. I will try because it's a total of 48 hours, and you know, so yeah, we looked at some of the microboards for the third one, which is really great because we can use Coral by Google to do the board design, which is one of the new microboards that you can prototype IoT and you can program it in C or Python. Okay.
Oh, I meant the Raspberry and the Arduino.
Yeah, the third one is so there are 3. There's Raspberry, Arduino, and then the third one is, it's called prototyping IoT or designing IoT, which is where you actually look at how to design board, program it, and then make it into an IoT device. Okay.
Okay.
It will be a fun one. Yeah, I would like to teach it, but you know, it all comes down to whether they will allow it or not, because there's some business aspect of it too. So without going into too much detail. Other questions?
One thing about what you were talking with Sean earlier, by any chance, would you get the funding by the end of the month? Because that's when I think I'm going to plan to take my test.
So for voucher, you mean?
Yes.
I will touch base with Jennifer next week and I will let you know. I had sent her the discount information to see, you know, and I asked her for 20 So I will let you know what they say. The voucher thing, I can't guarantee you, but the Certiport one, that is as soon as they get the transaction process. I already got the quotes from the company, and I already filled out the form, so it goes to the district and they approve it once they approve it. So yeah, you're gonna look at maybe like the end of October near Halloween or even before. But for the voucher, I would likely know for certain by next week maybe.
Okay, great. I mean, I can pay for it for now,
but you can get discount with the membership. However, if we can buy it at a cheaper discount, then we can also sell it to, I prefer not to sell it, but if they won't allow it, then we can also buy it for the student at a cheaper rate. Also, if we can get the voucher for the students, then I'll do my best. But yeah, let me talk to them about funding. So
yeah, it's normally $350. I paid $220 with the student discount.
yeah, and I just saw that they had a program for the partner to get almost 100%, 65 to 100% off. I gotta find out how I can get 100% off. So I'm gonna email the rep and the regional manager for CompTIA and see what they say about that. If there's a program that we can apply, I'll fill out some paperwork to get you guys some discount. I don't mind. Okay. All right. Any question? Thank you so much. And you guys have a wonderful afternoon. I will see you.
last question before we go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's for next class. You know, today's VP debate. I think it starts at 6. I don't know how long the lab is gonna be.
Oh no, it's not gonna be long, Chris.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I even when I did it, it was even like without going over the instruction. It's easy. It's quick. But you don't have to finish it tonight. It's open until, for 2 days. So.
Okay, because I just want to see Kamala kick Biden's ass.
All right. So.
I'm talking about. I'm sorry, Pence's ass.
So I will try to make sure it's short and sweet. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Any other questions? So Chris and Alma, I will see you at 5, and the rest of you guys enjoy. And for Ray, I will get your form complete and email it back to you tonight. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to do it before class, but
Oh, no big deal. I mean,
I will get it to you tonight. Okay. Awesome.
And then I have to bounce it back to the other teachers.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Sean. Bye, everybody.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I had a question.
Yes.
For the internship thing, do we need just the A+ or the SEC?
The apprenticeship? Well? The apprenticeship. Yeah, don't mix it up. Jennifer will get mad. Apprenticeship.
That's why I'm checking.
Yeah, the apprenticeship. Yeah, you can start with the A+. You can get any of the certification, the Network Plus, the Security Plus, whichever one you want to. But yeah, they prefer that you have A+ or Security Plus. So if you have the A+, that's good. If you have Security Plus, that's also a good thing, or both.
What about that one they made, that ITF or whatever it is?
IT Essential. Yeah. Some of the student from high school took that, and it's okay, but it's way below the A+. Even.
Oh, okay, so it's not even worth it though. Okay.
No, if you're gonna spend money, do the A+, right? And then register for CompTIA membership so you can get discount for all of your certification. It's a free membership, so you don't have to, give money to sign up. You can just use your student email, and then if I can get the vouchers compensated, some way, I will let you know. I intended to do that since day one, but I always come across complication. It's money.
Yeah, I get that. That's why the first internship went down in flames, because
Oh,
then we
actually,
backed
no,
out.
we had students went for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That we
I
had
never got
two
saw that.
employers, they were very selective. So I think two of them completed, the other two, I don't know. They're kind of like in the black hole because I haven't gotten my funds renewed, even though the money is there. I haven't been able to get NBC people to get that process. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so we're waiting for the next round, which you are still eligible for. It's just
Will they conflict with each other, considering they're both
oh no. You can do
internship
the
type
80
ones?
hours periodically. They're totally flexible with that. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
had a student that knocked it out in 3 weeks, and then the
Yeah.
other student, he's like, yeah, there was one that they wanted somebody to test some of their VR stuff, but they haven't gotten back to me on that. So we're still waiting for them to get back. It's very difficult to tie employers to these things, even though they don't have to pay a penny. So
Yeah, I'll have to tell Chris about that, because honestly, we thought it was dead in the water, like there's nothing happening
oh
whatsoever. It's
no,
done.
we got interns completed. We can report. They
Wow.
extended it until next June. So if I have more stuff coming for it, I'll let you know. But you guys are still in queue for it, and
Okay.
we send a resume to them, so they pick whoever that they pick, and then because they have the final say, it's their company, you know.
Yeah.
And then after that, we report with them on how everything went. But I've been the one who just did a lot of the stuff. Joe has been the one who been checking the timesheets, and only like that's it. Like he does the paperwork. I do the front line when I talk to the employers and stuff. And right now, like none of us are getting paid for it. The students don't
That's
have
weird.
money in the pot, so we're waiting. We're waiting to see if that made it to board, and so we can continue it. So yeah, it's a little challenging as getting things processed as quick as we
I
want.
heard this
So
new one might be a little more structured and more of a safer bet than the last one, as far as like, you know,
the apprenticeship is
they've been
more
doing it for years.
organized. It's gonna be way better. I have more say on who's, you know, who, how many, so we would have more students. We can control that locally. The internship, it's very limited because, you know, they only have so much money. There's so many other restrictions. But yeah, we did have a couple interns that went through it and they've completed it. So
That's
not,
cool.
I mean, you know, some of them were, one of them said it was great. The other one was like, eh, he was like, I'm done with it.
That's awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. No, yeah, Chris and I have been talking about it randomly back and forth since it started, and
We sent your resume every single time, and you don't know how many employers I've reached out. I literally have to go down a list of 150.
oh
I
no, I'm
thought
not
that they
doubting you
were,
guys tried. I thought
yeah.
that all the companies took
No,
off.
like we thought that we would have all the employers line up, which was not true. Like we literally have to like go out and find the ones that, you know, and there was one company that's in Hollywood and they do development for the government. They're great. And they were very nice about it. And so that was the one that took the two interns. I had ones that were like, okay, we'll bring in, and then it's just like dead in the water for months, and then they'll send an email and they'll say, okay, maybe next week, and then dead in the water.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. That's what we
yeah,
thought
so I
happened.
have a lot of those. I have like I have company in Irvine that said that. So to let you know, like we had a lot of people that were interested but ended up not responding back because of COVID or other things. So but yeah, every time we send out like all the resume from all our interns, and then we wait. And then I every Friday I would send an email. Oh, have you looked at the resume? What's going on? And then they will say, oh, okay, maybe next week.
So yeah,
So that
companies.
was like my job for the whole summer all the way through the beginning of fall. So but yeah, right now, you know, as soon as I hear any kind of movement, I'll let you know. But we don't know.
No,
So
that's okay. I get that. Well, at least you guys, it wasn't shut down. I thought it was shut down, and you guys, when the companies pulled
oh
out.
no.
Honestly, we didn't know
If
anything.
I'm in it, Ray, it better go. There's no such thing as quitting. Yeah, I don't believe in that. Like, we have to make it happen. So like, even if like, I don't have the 100% success, but I have to have some kind of success throughout.
Well, it sounds
that's
like
not
a
my.
couple of students got through it. They just need to get paid, so that's a good thing.
They got paid.
Oh, they did get paid. You guys just haven't gotten paid yet.
They got paid. They got paid
Oh,
the
damn.
next week. They got paid. Yeah, those got
Why don't
paid.
they just pay everything to the students and have the students pay you guys back? That would have worked better.
Oh no. Then yeah,
It would have
that's
been
not.
quicker anyway.
Yeah, no. Funding doesn't work that way, Ray.
Should.
It would be a lot. Yeah,
everybody.
no, but no, that's not how it works. Like they hold it, and then you have to request for it. So yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, it does. It takes a little bit of time, but yeah, they said they're ready to go for the next, because we took over San Francisco Community College portion.
Mm-hmm.
So we're waiting for that to be activated so we can have more interns. I was very like positive going into it, but if I can get like 4 more interns to go through that DoD Cascade internship, I will be totally happy. Like, I will be walking on water,
No, definitely. Just some success is worth, it's at least
But
something.
we fulfill our requirement, which is the minimum they say is 2. The maximum they want is like about 6 or 8. Mm-hmm. So we had about 12 that apply. So if I can get like 6 or 8 going through, that's more than 50% of the applicants. Then that compared to other places, we're ahead already. There's some school that like they haven't even placed any. So yeah. So just to keep, so Joe knows the backstory. I text him and talk to him all the time about it, but it does take time.
I've been busy with all this
He's
stuff.
busy.
Yeah, and he is too. I don't like bugging him, but yeah, I'm sorry to bug you. I came in late because of I've been elected the communication between the student government and my club, and so they meet
like
on,
what is that, ICC or whatever?
Yeah, usually people don't know what it means, so I don't even say it. ICC.
Oh no, I'm an advisor, so I know. I started to know all the terms. Yeah, for STEM.
Oh, really?
Right now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so Joe been always trying to say, hey, quit your club, come over to mine.
Oh yes, please do.
No, I haven't signed the paperwork for STEM because Chris wanted to start the cybersecurity club. Right. So I did send out an email asking if I can advise both club. Like, I'm a co-advisor for STEM, so I don't know. I've heard that you can. I haven't I haven't gotten confirmation from Frankie Moore. So but yeah, I've been doing STEM club for at least like more than 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
For a while now. Yeah. So we used to do more stuff when we have like campus-based things. And then they come to the makerspace and do stuff too, like how your club is.
Oh yeah, that's why I'd always see you there. That's
Yeah, some of them they're very motivated to 3D print, and while the others are not. It's like a mix of life science and other type of students. So it's a little diverse group that's, they're pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to do some stuff with them, and sometime I would get them pizza when I could. But other than that, like, I haven't heard from them for a bit, except for today. They asked me to sign some paperwork.
Oh yeah, the recharter stuff.
Yeah, so I haven't signed it yet, so because I'm not sure if I can. Anyway.
Oh, well, you might need to anyway. That stuff is, if it's the recharter packet, it's due today by 4. Oh shit, never mind. It's already due. Sorry.
Well, they sent it. Well, I got it today, so
Okay, well, maybe Frankie will take it anyway, but yeah, it was today. It was due date. I didn't know, otherwise I would have mentioned.
Okay, nobody told me that it's okay, but
yeah, we have meetings on every other Wednesday. It used to be every Wednesday, but now.
Thanks for letting me know. I'll sign it right now, and I'll email it back to him. It's not a big deal.
Okay, just Frankie that you didn't know it was due right away, and that Or if you want, I can let her know, and that you'll be trying to take care of it right away. You just weren't sure if you were the person who needed to sign it.
I got a message from the STEM club. He sent it to me at 1 p.m. today.
He's
so
late.
It says that, I want to ask you if you can fill out these 3 forms. And return them to me to my email. I would greatly appreciate. Have a great day. He didn't tell me when it was due, so I don't think he even knows when it's due. But anyway, I'll fill it out. It's not a big deal. This is not the first time we turn stuff in late.
I know the feeling. I found out late. These guys didn't even apply for funding. Not like it matters since we're not on campus, but still.
Yeah, I think last time they came to my office at like 3:30 p.m. trying to get form to sign by 4 o'clock, but I can blame it on remote COVID.
Yeah, definitely.
So
a lot's changed, and I'm me for one. I'm new to this ICC stuff, and that's why I keep being late because they have meetings just before yours.
Yeah, so we're okay. Okay. All right. Have a good afternoon. I'll see you next week. I'll send you the form tonight. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And any information you get about the certification?
No. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Sorry to keep you.
Bye.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye, Ricky.